Hey guys, welcome back to Rossoneri TV. I'm Joe and I'm here for the match preview of the third match day of the Europa League group stage matches. And of course, it is AC Milan against AEK Athens tomorrow, Thursday, October 19th at 9:05 p.m. Italian time. This match will be played at the San Siro. And I'll get into this match in just a moment. But I would like to also emphasize on the importance of this game. Besides the fact that it's been a very rough start to the month of October for Milan, of course, having lost against Roma at the beginning of the month and then going on the international break and losing this past weekend against Inter in a match in which I believe we should have at least got something out of it. I don't think we fully deserved to walk out of that match with 0 points, but the scoreline said otherwise. I think it is important to walk into this match against Athens with full confidence. Of course, it won't be an easy match for Milan because Athens, they're known for being quite speedy. They have some good players and they are in second position so far in the standings, right below us by 2 points. So right now the standings as they stand, it's AC Milan first place in the group with 6 points, AEK Athens with 4, Austria Vienna with 1, and Rijeka with 0. So it is a very important match, especially for Milan, as if we do pick up the 3 points, qualification to the next round won't be certain just yet, but it will be very, very, very probable that we will qualify to the next round of this competition. So Milan need to come out, like I said, with full confidence. It is a match that is supposed to boost their morale as well. Like I mentioned before, coming into this month with 2 consecutive losses against Roma and Inter, we kind of need this confidence boost in order to hopefully have a better end of the month. We have some very tough fixtures this month, of course. We're playing Genoa on the weekend in the Serie A, and then next week another 2 fixtures against Chievo Verona and Juventus. So it is a very busy month. Milan are playing more times than not, twice a week. So it's going to be difficult, and that is why Montella is actually suggesting that there will be some squad rotation going on into the team in order to, give some players some time off to recuperate, I guess, to get some rest, because, like I said, there are a lot of fixtures this month, and some players will need the added rest, the extra rest, in order to hopefully perform better. In terms of players that have been left out for tomorrow's match against Athens, there will not be Abate and Romagnoli. They will actually be out of this match for minor physical issues, and as well as Zapata, Gustavo Gomez, and Jose Mauri. They have been left out due to a technical decision. So the defense is actually quite decimated, if I may add over here, and the only defenders that have been called up are Bonucci, Calabria, Musacchio, Paletta, and Rodriguez. Now, I wasn't quite capable of finding a probable starting 11 for tomorrow's match, so I put one together myself, and it will be something similar, I guess, given the players that have been called up. We got, of course, Donnarumma in net. The back three might be composed of Musacchio, Bonucci, and most probably Paletta. In the midfield, we got Calabria. At least that's what I'm putting here. Calabria as on the right side. Then Kessie in the middle, someone between Locatelli and Montolivo. I'm not quite sure who's going to get the start between the two. Çalhanoğlu on the left, and Rodriguez being there right beside him. And up front, we'll see most likely Suso alongside Cutrone there in that 3-5-2 formation. Of course, Cutrone was part of the pre-match, I guess you could say, conference with Montella, and therefore more than likely he will be starting tomorrow. And I think he does deserve to start because he's shown some very good things in the Europa League. I think he scored a couple of goals already. So besides that, I think he's a very hungry player, and definitely I would play him in such a match. Even when coming on against Inter during the weekend, he had almost an immediate impact, created chances for himself, created spaces. He's a very fast player that could make the defense wander a bit more than usual. Therefore, I'm very happy to see that Cutrone will most likely start this match. But let's speak about our opponents as well. Like I said, AEK Athens, second place in the group. They beat Rijeka 2-1 in their opening fixture, and then they tied Austria Vienna 2-2. That match was at home. Obviously, it shouldn't be a competition for Milan in this match, but they're still a side that could pose some dangers. And I know a lot of people, based on that draw reaction video, I don't know why, but there were a lot of AEK Athens fans in that video that came to comment saying that, we beat you guys already back in the 06-07 season. Why not for a repeat? Why can there not be a repeat of this? So Milan has to be careful. Like I said, at times, even if we're playing a side that's inferior to us on paper, it's not always the case that Milan, come out victorious or will win the match with ease. We saw it last time against Rijeka, and I actually spoke about it on the Milan Weekly podcast. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but if you guys go on Twitter, you should definitely give them a follow. Milan Weekly podcast actually made an appearance on it, and it should be out soon. It's actually called Milan Weekly Pod, but it should be out soon, this podcast. I will tweet it once it's up. I give my insight on this match as well on that podcast. But like I was saying, last match that we played in the Europa League against Rijeka, we were winning 2-0, and then somehow, for some reason, we dropped and we conceded 2 goals where we shouldn't have conceded them in the dying 5 minutes. I don't want to see this ever again, especially against teams that are inferior than us. I don't think we need to put ourselves in those situations at all. We need to control the match, and even if we are winning this game 2-0 or 3-0, we need to make sure to close it and not concede stupid goals at the end. I was very, very upset after that match. I was not happy whatsoever with how the defense came out to play, and just really the way we almost gave up 3 points there. Thankfully, Patrick Cutrone came out with that last-minute winner against them, but we almost gave up 3 points to a team that shouldn't even be getting close to our net. That's my analysis on this. Now, I'm not saying, with all due respect to every team, of course, anything could happen, but what I'm trying to say here is that even if we are in a winning situation, Milan needs to stop being a soft team. And this is another thing that I was mentioning yesterday. At times, Milan is way too soft of a team. There's no reason why they should be giving these teams chances at all. They deserve to be winning these games. At least on paper, we spent 300 million euros, whereas a team like Athens only spent 30 million this summer. There should be no reason whatsoever why we shouldn't be able to win this match. Like I said, with all due respect, but these are the facts. Also, on another note, the upcoming games after this, the game against Genoa, the game against Chievo, these are games we need to win. There's no excuse whatsoever. There's no reason why we should not be winning these games. And, we need to build some sort of momentum. If we're going into matches and we are winning one day, then the next week we come in and we lose the next match, there's no continuation. There's no, momentum being built. And this actually is something very tough for every team to come out of. If you start building a sequence of positive results, the team performances will get better. The team in general, the players, will have a boost in their morale, and they will, play better altogether. So these are things that Milan need to take into consideration. Do they really want another losing season? Hell no. So now it's time to, roll up their sleeves, start working hard, and get the results that they need. Like I said, it doesn't always have to be pretty, but they need to make sure that they walk out of these games with the full 3 points. And also, getting back to this match, if they do get the 3 points, the faster we earn disqualification to the next round, the better it is. You can rest players, you can play players that have not been getting much playing time during the season. You can, like I said, we're going to be playing most weeks, twice a week, 3 times a week, if you consider both weekends in the same week. in a matter of 7 days, we could be playing 3 games. That's what I'm trying to say, and we cannot have players be playing every match in that week. So the faster we earn disqualification, the better we'll be. The more ability we will have to rest these players, and the more time we can give to the players that have not seen much of the pitch so far this season. But I do want to know your thoughts about this game, and moving on forward, even in the month, what are your expectations from Milan? So let me know exactly what you guys think. Also, I see that there's a contribution here from Emil Soboleski. Thank you, man, so much all the time. You are supporting our channel a lot, and I cannot thank you enough for your contributions. Thank you, really, it helps a lot. Caleb says, knowing Montella, I put Calabria on the left where he can play. I don't think so. I think he's going to be starting on the right this time. Caleb says also, are there rumors of disagreements between Montella and Bonaventura as well as Suso? Dwayne is asking the same question. Anyone hear that Suso and Bonaventura are frustrated with Montella for changing the formations a lot? I've read this report as well, and I have to say I'm not quite sure if it's true or not. Sometimes, newspapers write things like this just to make headlines, just to have something to write about. At the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if they're upset. Of course, Suso and Bonaventura, I guess you could call them more the veterans of this team, knowing the team more than other players, of course, as many of them have only arrived this summer. So they kind of have a say in this team, and they obviously see things from a different perspective. And I do understand if they're frustrated, because I think a lot of people are. And you as a coach, you need to also understand your players and their motivations. If a player is suggesting something, coach, I feel better playing in this role, I feel better playing in this sort of formation, I could create more chances by doing this, by doing that. The coach needs to hear the players as well. They cannot always think for themselves and say, okay, this is the best formation we could play, the 3-5-2, you're going to be playing here, you're going to be playing there, and that's the end of the story. You cannot always be like that as a coach. You need to also consider what your players are going to be doing and what they want, or where they feel more comfortable, in which position, they will perform the best. These are things that as a coach you need to understand, and I could understand the frustration from certain players because at times, we spoke a lot about this. Suso playing out of formation, is that the best position for him? Could it be something that, could be better in the long run? Yes or no? It's a gamble, and I think so far this season, Montella has been changing a bit too much, and he also mentioned it in his press conference today. The results are his fault, most of them, because he's been changing a lot of things, and when you change a lot of things all the time, you're gambling a lot, and oftentimes, it's not always going to be a positive outcome. It's like you're betting on something. Is it for sure that you're going to be winning 100%? No. So if you stick to something, you stick to a plan, maybe those players will adapt to it eventually. But you also have to, make sure that the whole environment is okay with it. Because if you got players not buying into your ideas of playing them out of position, if you got problems like that, these are things that Montella needs to consider as well. And Suso and Bonaventura, I don't know about you guys, but to me, they have been, so far, some of the most consistent players this season, as you would expect. Bonaventura, let's not forget, he had a very serious injury last year, came into the season, came hungrier than ever to do well. And, I'm not saying other players have not been doing the same, but Suso and Bonaventura, they have been playing here through tough seasons, especially last year, where it wasn't an easy season, or the year before, and they know what it takes to play hard at Milan. They know that you need to play hard to get the results, because even though we bought all these players, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're linking up, they have found that chemistry that will win them titles so far. So there needs to be a better work rate from players. I don't want to see any laziness from certain players in the midfield especially, and in the defense, like we have seen all season round. And frankly speaking, I've been quite upset with all the amount of money that we have spent, and so far the results are not coming. I understand it's a long season. I'm not saying anything, but certain things need to change, and Montella needs to realize these things as fast as possible. Mustafa says, Jill, do you think we can win the Europa League despite the shaky performance at the moment? Winning the Europa League is definitely no easy task. Let's not forget that even though we are seeing all these teams in the group stages at the moment, teams that we could definitely beat, let's not forget that in the later rounds there will be the third place teams from the Champions League coming over in the Europa League, and that's where things get tough. If you find a team like Liverpool, for example, or I don't know, any random team that, even though they haven't qualified for the round of 16 in the Champions League, they're a quite solid team. If Milan encounter these sorts of teams, they might find trouble. So, to win the Europa League, I think it's a very premature statement at the moment. We are only in the month of October. It's way too early. I hope we go as far as possible in this competition, also because for the main reason that if we do win the Europa League, we will qualify for the Champions League automatically, and for next season, of course. And at the moment, will we qualify to the Champions League through the Serie A? I'm not sure. Things are not going quite correctly. They're not going right for us. So, a lot of things are still to be seen, but it's still very early, and to say if Milan can win the Europa League, why not? But it's still a very premature statement. Dwayne also says Milan just need time to do well. It sucks we lost the derby, but we must move on. Getting the win against Athens is an absolute must win. Maybe a 2-0 win with Andre Silva scoring both goals. Well, I'm not quite sure if Andre Silva will be starting this game. Like I said, I'm predicting Suso starting with Cutrone. But Andre Silva, he's been scoring lots of goals for us already in the Europa League. Yes, he hasn't been having the same luck in the Serie A, hitting the post against Inter. You would have liked a different outcome, of course. But Andre Silva has proven to be a lethal striker, not only for club, but also for the national team with Portugal. He's been doing very, very well. So even though he does not start and he does come on in the second half or something like that, in case we need him to come on, I'm pretty sure he's going to have a positive performance. Some more comments before I sign off. Milanista 1899 says, AEK should not be at our level whatsoever. This should be a 3-0 victory for us. We need to play with determination, grinta, and as though there is fire burning within us. And you're completely right, Milanista 1899. It's not only something that we should be doing in this game, but also in every game. And unfortunately, the determination and the grinta that you're talking about, in often cases this season, it wasn't there. It hasn't been there, and these things need to change if we need to win games. And I mentioned it before. At times, even though we have this talent, because I do believe we have a talented squad. Even though we have all this talent around us, at times I still feel like Milan is too soft. And what I mean by this is their character is too soft. They're too nice with their opponents. They need to get meaner. They need to get hungrier to win results, to win games. And simply, I don't see it very often with this side. Even though we do, the month of September was pretty positive for us, we need to come out stronger. We need to come out stronger, more determined, and we cannot just play 45 minutes. This was a story that we were witnesses of for the past few years. Milan always coming out and only playing 45 minutes, gifting halves to other teams where they would be dominating them, and then Milan will come out in the second half and start playing and try to rescue results. We've seen that all around last season, guys. How many times did we see that last season? And I'm sure everyone that was a supporter of Milan last season, and not only when the new signings came in, we're aware of that. We saw it endless times. Enough is enough with that character. We need to actually start playing 90 full minutes. Enough with the 45 minutes coming into the second half, playing strong there, rescuing results out of nowhere. Enough with that. If we want to win games, if we want to be on the top side of the table, we need to play full 90 minutes to our full potential. That's it. Do I believe in the rumor of Kaká coming back? No way, guys. Come on. Are you guys having a laugh or what? Dimitri says Milan is gonna win this one easily. The priority this season is to win the Europa League because we can't compete with Juve, Napoli, Roma, Inter, Lazio for the place in Champions League. Yes and no. I mean, it is still very early in the season. Like I said, 8 games in. I'm not saying that we're not going to be able to compete with teams like Inter and Lazio, because Inter, yes, they are having a great start of the season, but how many times have we said this in the past years? Oh, Inter, it looks like they're a different team. It looks like they're finally, that team that they once were. And then all of a sudden, boom, downfall. We've seen that so many times over the course of the year. So Inter, yes, they're doing well right now. How long will it last? Who knows? Not that long, in my opinion. Yes, they have a very strong team this year. They have a lot of weapons, but it's the same story year in and year out with Inter. And for those that watch Serie A regularly, I'm not being salty about it, but that's the situation with Inter. Many times they start off well, and then they start to decline, and lose out on positions. And yes, like I said, and like you guys are mentioning in the comments, it's not only us having hard fixtures, but also other teams. They will encounter their matches as well. There's Napoli-Inter this weekend, and that's going to be a very interesting match to watch. Very, very curious to see what happens. And also, Napoli will be playing at home in that fixture, so who knows? I think that's going to wrap it up, guys, for this match preview. Thank you all so much for joining me. Don't forget that tomorrow there will be this third match day between AC Milan and AEK Athens in the group stages of the UEFA Europa League. I'll catch you guys for the match review post-match tomorrow. So I'll be seeing you then. Don't forget to leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it, as well as subscribe to Rossoneri TV if you haven't just done that yet, to stay updated with everything going on at the club. This has been Gio signing off from Rossoneri TV, and as always, Forza Milan.